Welcome to Module 4. The focus of Module 4 is Technology and Media for Teaching and Learning. In this module, we will focus on how to select highly relevant digital programs, tools, and resources to help learners achieve their learning objectives. Specifically, we'll first study the pedagogical differences between media and technology, and two, the sections model. From the assigned reading, the purpose of the chapter was to identify the pedagogical characteristics of the following media: text, audio, video, computing, social media, emerging technologies such as virtual and augmented reality, serious games, and artificial intelligence. For this video, I'm going to focus on video and social media. Although there have been massive changes in video technology over the last 25 years, resulting in dramatic reductions in the cost of both creating and distributing video, the unique educational characteristics are largely unaffected, which is a good thing. Video is a much richer medium than either text or audio, as in addition to its ability to offer text and sound, it can also offer dynamic or moving pictures, which I personally like. Thus, while it can offer all the affordances of audio and some of text, it also has unique pedagogical characteristics of its own. Video can be used to 1. Demonstrate experiments or phenomena, 2. Illustrate principles involving dynamic change or movement, or 3. Illustrate abstract principles through the use of specific or specially constructed physical models. Some more examples of how video can be used include being able to demonstrate changes over time through the use of animation, slow motion, or speeded up video. 2 or 5, demonstrate correct procedures in health, safety, repairs, and maintenance. And finally, substitute for a field visit. Skills development in a video usually requires the video to be integrated with student activities. The ability to stop, rewind, and replay video becomes crucial for skills development, as student activity usually takes place separately from the actual viewing of the video. If video is not used directly for lecturing, research clearly indicates that students generally need to be guided as what to look for in a video, at least initially in their use of video for learning. There are various techniques for relating concrete events with abstract principles, such as through audio narration over the video, such as what's experiencing here, using a still frame to highlight the observation, or repeating a small section of the program. Bates and Gallagher in 1977 found that using video for developing higher order analysis or evaluation was a teachable skill that needs to be built into the development of a course or program to get the best results. The main strengths of video include the following: linking concrete events and phenomena to abstract principles, and vice versa. The ability of students to stop and start so they can integrate activities with video. Additional strengths include providing an alternative approach to the presentation of content that can help students having difficulties in learning abstract concepts. Adding substantial interest to a course by linking it to real-world issues, which again I personally enjoy. A growing amount of freely available high-quality academic videos, I like that as well. And also, it's good for developing some of the higher level intellectual tools, such as some of the practical skills needed in a digital age. The use of low-cost cameras and free editing software enables some forms of video to be cheaply produced. The main weaknesses of video usage are: many faculty have no knowledge of experience in using video other than for recording lectures. Also, there's currently a limited amount of high-quality educational video free for downloading. Because the cost of developing high-quality educational video that exploits the unique characteristics of this medium is still relatively high. And then also, creating original material that exploits the unique characteristics of video is time consuming and still relatively expensive because it usually needs professional video production. Additional weaknesses include getting the most out of educational videos. Students need specially designed activities that often will have to sit outside the video itself. And then students often reject videos that require them to do analysis or interpretation. They often prefer direct instruction that focuses primarily on comprehension. Okay, the second form that I'd like to talk about is social media. So, although social media are mainly internet based and hence a subcategory of computing, there are enough significant differences between educational social media use and computer based learning or online collaborative learning to justify treating social media as a separate medium. Around 2005, a new range of web tools began to find their way into general use and increasingly into educational use. For example, blogs, which I personally love, allows an individual to make regular postings to the web, for example, personal diary or analysis of current events. Second, social networking, such as Facebook and LinkedIn. It's a social utility that connects people with friends and others who work, study, and interact with them. And then finally, or the third item, multiplayer archives. For example, podcasts and YouTube. This allows end users to access, store, download, and share audio recordings, photographs, and videos. Social media, when well designed within an educational framework, can help with the development of the following skills: digital literacy, independent and self directed learning, networking, and other interpersonal skills, knowledge management, and decision making in specific contexts. Some of the advantages of social media are as follows. They can be extremely useful for developing some of the key skills needed in a digital age, such as digital communication skills. They can enable teachers to set up online group work based on cases or projects, and students can collect data in the field using social media, such as mobile phones or iPads. Learners can post media rich assignments either individually or as a group. And so additional strengths include assignments, when assessed, can be loaded by the learner into their own personal learning environment or e-portfolio for later use when seeking employment or transferring to graduate school. This class is a perfect example of this. Through the use of blogs and wikis courses, and learning can be thrown open to the world, adding richness and wider perspectives to learning. The advent of new tools that give students control of their learning will not necessarily change their need for a structured educational experience. However, learners can be taught the skills needed to become independent learners. Social media can make the learning of how to learn much more effective, but still only in most cases within an initially structured environment. So this is one of the weaknesses. And then another weakness is the use of social media raises the inevitable issue of quality. How can learners differentiate between reliable, accurate, authoritative information and inaccurate, biased, or unsubstantiated information if they're encouraged to roam for free? So, if you just want to think back to recent elections or just education during or information during our pandemic, this is a good example of just the issue of quality and who do you believe, who's right, who's wrong. Media and technology selection is a critical step in digital learning and technology integration. People adopt and use a specific media or technology for a variety of reasons: convenience, word of mouth, for the sake of using tech, or novelty. But we should not choose a media or technology tool, program, or learning resource randomly. So, for this portion of the presentation or the video, we're going to talk about the sections model. So currently, there's no widely used model for media selection. So this portion of the video focuses on Bates from 2019 sections model for media selection. While it's not widely adopted, the sections model provides a set of criteria or questions that result in effective decision making about media and technology selection. So the sections model framework stands for S is for students, E is for ease of use, C is for cost, T is for teaching functions, I is for interaction, O for organizational issues, N for networking, and S for security and privacy. And the graphic here is from this week's course reading. And so it outlines, and you can see in this diagram, again, courtesy of the reading from this week, you can see the sequence, intersection, and collaboration that takes place in the best selection of media. It's not surprising that there are not many models for media selection. The models developed in the 1970s and 1980s took a very reductionist, behaviorist approach to media selection, resulting in often several pages of decision trees, which are completely impractical to apply given the realities of teaching. And yet, these models still included no recognition of the unique affordances of different media. More importantly, technology is subject to rapid change, as we all know. There are competing views on appropriate pedagogical approaches to teaching, and the context of learning varies so much. So, finding a practical, manageable model founded on research and experience that can be widely applied has proved to be challenging. At the same time, every teacher and instructor and increasingly learner needs to make decisions in this area, often on a daily basis. And so a model for technology selection and application is needed, therefore, that has the following characteristics. One, it will work in a wide variety of learning contexts. It allows decisions to be taken at both a strategic institution wide level and at a tactical instructional level. It gives equal attention to educational and operational issues. It will identify critical differences between different media and technologies, thus enabling an appropriate mix to be chosen for any given context. And it's easily understood, pragmatic, and cost effective. It will accommodate new developments in technology. So the sections model is based on research and has stood the test of time and has found to be practical. A more detailed explanation of what section stands for can be seen on this graphic. So as students, what do you know about the kinds of students you're trying to reach, such as demographics, access to technology, and learning styles? And then E, ease of use. How easy and reliable is the medium or technology for the instructor and the learner to use? C, for cost. How much does this technology cost to design, deliver, and maintain the course? T, teaching functions. What are the educational affordances of the medium? That is, how is it good and not so good for teaching? And then I, interaction. To what extent does the medium provide interactivity between the learner and learning materials, between learner and expert, and between learners? O, organizational issues. Does the institution support this technology? And then N, networking. Does the medium provide opportunities to network outside the course with subject experts and others in the community? And then S, security and privacy, which is a huge thing. Is this a safe technology for the instructor and students to use? So I'm going to focus on, or one of the areas I'm going to focus on is ease. So with ease, and which is the E portion of the sections model, it's, you want to keep it simple. In most cases, the use of technology in teaching is a means, not an end. Therefore, it's important that students and teachers do not have to spend a great deal of time on learning how to use educational technologies or on making the technologies work. Computer and information literacy, if a great deal of time has to be spent by the students and teachers in learning how to use, for instance, software for the development or delivery of the course material, this distracts from the learning and teaching. However, there is a basic set of literacy skills that will be required, such as the ability to read, write, use a keyboard, use word processing software, to navigate the internet and use the internet software, and increasingly to use mobile devices. So these skills, though, could be considered prerequisites. So if students have not adequately developed these skills in school, then an institution or company might want to, provide preparatory courses on these topics. And then interface design. The critical factor in making technology transparent is the design of the interface between the user and the machine. Thus, an educational program, or indeed any website, should be well structured, intuitive for the user to use, and easy to navigate. And then finally, reliability. The reliability and robustness of the technology is also critical. A feature of online learning is that peak use tends to fall outside normal office hours. Thus, it's really important that your course materials sit on a reliable server with high speed access and 24 hours, 7 days a week reliability with automatic backup on a separate independent server located in a different building, which I'm sure our university has. At this current time, I am thinking about, as an example of, which model, which portion of, or as I'm applying the sections model to an example, it would be the final project for this course. I want to be able to share my final project with my boss, but I'm not sure if using Canva, which I have used for this module and previous modules, is the best tool, or if a more sophisticated learning management system is needed. Well, this concludes this week's module. I have enjoyed all the reading that I've learned, that I've done, and the things that I have learned for this week's module. I hope you have as well. Please stay tuned for next week as we will go through Module 5 and then also preparation for the final assignment. Take care.